And hey, welcome one and all. Welcome, Rockaholics and CGCM Rock Radio faithful. It is another edition of Rock Talk with Bob Bannister on your YouTube channel. And joining us this time around, we've got another band from Australia. These guys going to be taking part in the Rock Is Not Dead 2 Festival coming up August 30th in Melbourne. We are welcoming Ryan and Jester, sorry, my apologies, from the band Tailor Made Rejects. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello, we are very happy to be here. Very excited for this interview today.
And I got to say, you guys, your Afterthought album, just an amazing, amazing piece of work. And High Speed Love is currently doing very well on the CGCM Rock Radio Top 20 countdown.
Ooh, that's what we love to hear. We love that song.
Yeah. Absolutely, and it's all listener driven too. The listeners vote on the songs they like, and you guys have been hitting it off with the listeners and doing very, very well.
Nice work, nice work, and thank you. Shout out to you as well. Thank you for putting us in those rounds. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely. So we've got, like I said, Ryan Valley from Tailor Made Rejects and Jester Batt. Missing is Zachary Cutmore and Val Morrigan, and that's the bassist and drummer. You guys were out playing a gig, and they got in really, really, really late.
Yeah, so we played a gig last night, and we played a place in Brisbane called the PRFR Lounge. And the PRFR Lounge is a cute little like sort of bar, I'd say. But there's like this little side section where the bands play, and it's such a tight little venue that you can pack it out pretty easy. But the problem with that is our drummer, he is like he's insane behind the kit. So by the end of the night, you just have this ringing in your head that you just can't get rid of. So they didn't go home until about 3 o'clock. They stayed out drinking all last night, and I'm like, "Hey, we got an interview today," and they're like, "Oh," and I was like, "Look, we'll do it for you."
That's okay. Next time around, we'll talk to those two only.
All right, good. I'm gonna make sure they're here next time.
Right on, right on. So you, Ryan and Jester, you're new to the band, but you guys go back a bit.
Yeah, so Jesse and I we did our first record together when we were about 15 and 16. We were in a band together called Dark Relic. It was actually the very first band I was in like musically as a group. And that band kind of like because we were so young, we were still sort of getting our legs a little bit, and we eventually sort of parted ways to do other projects, and then just sort of drifted apart as a creative group. But Jesse and I, we always sort of stuck together, and we communicated over the years. And it just so happened that this opportunity came up, and it was like an amazing opportunity for us to bring that creative energy back together. Because I look back on those years so fondly working with Jesse. So yeah, it's amazing to have him in the group again.
And I'm not going to get into details, but the story is that your previous guitarist left the band, and you brought Jester in. Jester, tell us where what are you coming from into the Rejects?
I'd been playing in a few cover bands and stuff around Brisbane for a while, and but hadn't really found something that I was like really passionate about that I wanted to put all my time into. And then Ryan sent me the message about Rejects, and I was like, oh well, I'll start learning the songs straight away. And then it was a week later, and we played a gig, so
Wow.
I jumped into it and
Yeah,
got it done.
yeah, the story there is we were intending to have a conversation with our guitarist about just like the collaboration stuff. I won't go too deeply into it, but then we had a list of grievances, and we wanted to share that, but that kind of came to light a lot quicker than we'd sort of anticipated. So by the end of that sort of end of the conversation with Jesse about, hey, we might be looking at a new guitarist, it was like, oh, now we need a new guitarist, and we have a show in a week. Can you do it? And he's like, I can do it. And that's why Jesse is an absolute G. He came out and he crushed that show. He did so good. So I knew immediately the synergy was there. Everything was perfect. And I had my old best friend back. So it was amazing.
I guess that's what you would call a trial by fire, isn't it?
Absolutely. And if anyone could, it's Jesse.
Now, the Rejects, they were part of Rock Is Not Dead 1 back in, if memory serves me correct, February. And,
Yeah.
and out of that, you've played along with Slither and Whiskey on the Rocks. Those are the only, and you guys are only the three bands that are returning to Rock
Yes.
Is Not Dead 2.
So Slither, real quick, we actually played with Slither last night as well. You know, being in the industry for as long as we have, it's we come across thousands of bands. We play with a lot of bands, a lot of different interesting acts. But Slither, a shout out to those guys. Those guys are very unique, very special. I think they're a young, very talented group of kids, and I just like very quickly want to give them a shout out. If you guys haven't listened to Slither, give them a go because they are brilliant, and watching them live is like a very special experience. I think those guys are on the cusp of something very special. So having them come back with us to Rock Is Not Dead just goes to show how like connected Shane is to the scene as well. And shout out to Shane because he really kind of understands the culture. And to see him bring Rejects back, obviously on Bias, I think we're awesome. And also bring Splitter back is like he knows what he's doing. He's a very sort of calculated person. So big respect to Shane for that, and big respect to Slither too.
Absolutely. And you've got some pretty big names on this bill. I mean, playing along with well, let's see, Audio Rain.
That's true. That's true.
So let's get back to the album for a little bit here. So between the two of you, what is your favorite song, Jester, on the album?
Hmm.
What's the most fun song to play live? Let's put it that way.
Oh, so hard. They're all. I like all the songs. I
Good
think
answer.
Inspiral is probably my favorite to listen to. Like it's, yeah, I really like Inspiral. I think that'd probably be the one. Mm.
Yeah, at the moment we sort of are like sort of still getting Jesse his legs with all of the stuff, and so we were like, oh, what we got these sort of shorter sets. So here's the sets, and both times we haven't actually played Inspiraled, and Jesse
Okay.
shared that Inspiraled is his favorite song, and I'm like, we should have done that song then. So we will absolutely have Inspiraled prepared for the Rock Is Not Dead show for absolutely. So we'll be bringing that back to the live set.
So then, Ryan, your same question to you. What's your favorite song on Afterthought, and or what is the most fun song for you to play?
That is it is a difficult question to answer because I really do love each one of these songs, and yeah. So without rambling, I guess my favorite song on the record would probably have to be Heaven, personally, because that's one that I put a lot of heart and soul into. But to play live, most probably Hurt People. Hurt People is just such a banger, and it gets everybody in such a like a synergetic mood. Everybody's just so pumped after that song, and there's just more than just music to that song. It's just a lot of, raw energy. So definitely Hurt People.
I have to say on the album, my favorite song has to be "Life Sucks." I love that song.
Oh,
It's just, I put that on
yeah.
in the car and I sit there and I watch the speedometer just go.
That's very sweet to say. Yes, that song rules too.
So, describe your creative process to me, guys.
Well, with the writing side of things, it sort of comes in waves. Sometimes, like I will be, for lack of better words, lazy about the writing, where I kind of won't think about writing music for a bit, and I'll be kind of stuck in a writer's block, and I just nothing's going to be happening, and then out of nowhere someone will say something in conversation, or I'll hear something in the background, like a siren or something, and it will set off some kind of like unlocked door in my brain that'll send me on this like war path of writing like a million songs. And then I sort of just start cutting those down. So the actual sort of intricate writing process is usually I'll just sit there with my guitar. Sometimes I'll like put on a drum track. I'm a big fan of Tremonti and Alter
Oh
Bridge,
yeah.
and Mark Tremonti, his writing process is that sometimes he'll chuck on like a drum loop track on YouTube, and he'll just sort of riff to that, just to make some cool stuff, and then obviously build from there. And so I've sort of taken that on as well. So I sometimes I'll just put a drum loop on, and I'll just sort of try to riff out some cool stuff. But that also comes as like alongside just like at work, I'd be at my desk and sometimes I'll just be writing some lyrics down and then I'll marry those two up at some point. So that's kind of the writing process, and then we take that to our producer and put it on the record. Yeah, that's usually the Rejects writing. What about you, Jesse? I'm actually kind of curious because Jesse and I we haven't worked together in about 10 years, and we're now like starting to work on the next record. So I want to throw that question over to Jesse too.
I tend to just noodle around until I find something that sounds kind of interesting to me, and then I'll make a video of it and save it for later, and I'll keep thinking about it and see if there's any inflections I can make on it to just make it a bit more interesting
Hmm.
to myself, and then start showing some people and get their opinions of it, and then build it from there, I suppose.
Now, I saw an interview the other day with um, Nuno Betancourt, and he was saying that he has to record everything, otherwise it's gone after 10 minutes.
Gone.
He'll be in this, he'll be playing away, and then somebody will say to him, "Oh, that's really great. Can you play it again?" He goes, "What is that?" Same with you guys?
Yeah,
For me, yeah.
absolutely. I I think that's such a like renowned thing with musicians and creatives is that like we will have something amazing we'll sit on. And I've told myself a million times, even if I have to run to the bathroom and whisper it into my phone, I need to do that or it's gone. It's gone forever.
I've received a few of those recordings,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
bathroom recording.
I
Nice
I
echo with the
always like
reverb.
in those
Well,
moments I'm always like wondering if the guy in the stall next to me is hearing me go like fading colors now.
well, here's an interesting story though. You were talking about being in the bathroom and doing that. That's where, according to this interview, that's where Nuno Betancourt wrote "Wholehearted."
No way.
Yeah, he had bought himself a 12 string, his first 12 string, and he went into the bathroom and was taking care of business and was just noodling along and wrote "Wholehearted" in 10 minutes.
That's insane. That's actually an insane story.
Uh,
You know when you say, "Oh man, I wish I was a fly on the wall" when they were writing that song. That's probably one song I wouldn't want to be on a fly on the wall
No,
for.
no, no. But is there a song out there for both you guys that you hear it and you go, "Damn, I wish I wrote that"?
Oh
so,
yeah, yeah. Jesse, I'll let you answer this first because I feel like I'm gonna go on a tangent again.
um, it'd be hard to narrow it down to just one. I know I sometimes I'll hear a song and I'll listen to it and I think, oh, maybe I would have done that song like that bit different or that bit different. And then there's some songs you hear and you're like, I wouldn't change a thing about this. They fucking nailed that. I can't believe that I didn't like think of something like that myself. But yeah, it's just hard to narrow down like one particular thing. There's so much music in the world, so much
Yeah,
great music in the world.
there
Absolutely.
is.
How about you, Ryan?
I, I have two answers. One of them comes from like a real answer for the interview, but also one that comes from like actual pure jealousy. And the interview answer is "Show Me a Leader" by Alter Bridge. I think that song is I like every time I listen to that song, I just wish I wrote that song. It's such a kick-ass song. It's so awesome. And then my jealousy answer is our drummer and our bass guitarist are in another band. Our bass guitarist leads. She leads a band called Chemical Prisoner,
Mhm.
and in that band, they wrote a song called "Guilty as Charged." And I'm telling you, this song is so rad. It is such a rad song that every time like we play together, because we played together last night. Every time they play this song, I get so jealous. I'm like, I said to him, I was like, I'm gonna get so rich, I'm gonna buy your catalog just to own this song because I love this song so much. It's such a kick-ass song, man. They killed it on that track. So that's my real deep answer is that my own bass guitarist and drummer's other band song is a song I wish I wrote.
Hey, that's a great answer, and that's an honest answer. Absolutely. But
Hmm.
I got a question for you here, guys. Things are changing so much in the business. Major labels, pulling back the funds. Where do you see the industry in 10 years?
Yeah, so Jesse and I have been doing this for about 10, would you say 10, 15 years, 10 years, about 15 years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm 30 now, so I guess yeah, 15 years. And if anything, back then, if you were to ask me where it would be in 10 years, I'd be like, I have no idea. But if we're looking at kind of like the way that the music industry has gone over the last 15 years, we've gone from like CDs into streaming where people weren't really confident about streaming and now streaming seems to be the mainline thing. when I go over to a friend's place and they have CDs, that's exciting to me because I'm like, I haven't seen CDs in like forever. So what I really do think is that streaming is going to turn into like it's going to be like what Netflix is to TV now. It is going to be the primary source of how people listen to music if it isn't already. And I think that we're only just going to integrate more things into how we produce and how we create music to further fit that streaming process. I think the trends of how streaming is treated to the main line. So how long people are listening to songs, what type of songs people are listening to. I think that's always going to dictate where the money goes. And if people care about money in the music industry, that's where the artists will go to. So I think you're going to find true musicians on the other end of that. They're probably still going to commit to the streaming thing, but they're not going to follow those trends. And I think you're going to see, hopefully, my perfect future is a little bit more of a division in the music industry where we can sort of segregate rock into having this special space that it always has had instead of getting sort of, I guess, pushed aside for the insane audience that pop music has.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love to see rock have a resurgence. I'd love to see new rock stars come through because rock stars are dead right now. We don't have Axl Roses. We don't have, we don't have those big like Elvis names anymore. We don't have Michael Jacksons anymore. We just have people following trends. We
Not
have,
a new one in the
that
past
what's that?
10 years.
And we just
Not a
lost
new
our
person.
Elvis.
That's
Yes.
right. We absolutely did. And shout out to Ozzy, man. That was such a tough day, I think, for rockers everywhere. That was what watching like Grandpa take his last, have his last hurrah. And
Hmm.
that was tough. That was extremely tough. And I think everybody felt that. And so I guess to conclude my ramblings, what I really want is I want to see rock take a resurgence. I want to see the icons come back. I want to see rock stars come back. I want to see people who are not just like in love with rock music, but have such a synergy with it that it's unforgiving in every single way that you go and see them and you can't not look away. That's what we need. We need people like that to come back, not just people that are following trends or following mixing and mastering trends or production trends. We need people to change the industry. We need people to come back. We need rock stars to come back. That's my short answer.
There you go. There you go. Now, Jester, what's one piece of advice you'd give to emerging artists, the next generation that's coming up?
Focus on the quality of your recordings, I think, is really important. Just try and get something that's as clear as you can, get it recorded and out as quick as possible, like so that people can hear what you sound like. I think it helps a lot with promoters and just getting people to shows and stuff and just getting yourself out there. I think, yeah, quality recording as soon as you can. It doesn't need to be expensive, just, yeah, good
No,
quality.
and with the ease of technology nowadays, it's bringing about a whole DIY movement
sure.
in the music industry.
That's
It
true.
makes it a lot easier with the stuff that we have now. Like, I remember trying to get my hands on an interface to be able to record and having it sound scratchy and yeah, not great. And then now I've got a Helix. I can plug it straight into the computer. I don't even need an interface, and it's clean sounding amp tones through that. And yeah, just able to do things a lot quicker and easier than we were like 10 years ago for sure.
And it's the same with me in radio. I mean, like when I first started, you had to go into the radio station and you had a great big huge big mixing board. Well, now here I am. I'm doing it on a laptop in a little tiny mixing board with 4 channels, and that's it. And it sounds just as good, if not better, than the
Yeah.
big professional stuff.
I think that kind
Absolutely.
of like marries onto your last question too, where it was like, where do we see it going in the next 10 years? I also think the rise of the independent like artist and independent label is a very prominent thing that will continue to grow. I think the less trust people have in labels to take care of musicians, the more you're going to see a resurgence of people coming back and like, we're going to do it ourselves. We're going to take care of this ourselves because we know what we want out of production. Yeah. So I should definitely support Jesse's answer there is yeah, production and your music production and how the quality of your music is so important because that's your product as a band. You know, Coca-Cola, their product is Coca-Cola. And if their Coca-Cola was crap, no one would buy it, you know? So if you're a musician, your product is music. Make sure that product is really good. Make sure that don't just phone it in. Make sure it's really good, you know? So
Exactly. Like my dad used to say, do something right the first time so you don't have to go back and fix it.
that's fantastic. I love that.
Half-ass it, don't half-ass it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So before we wrap things up here, I always like to do a thing called this or that. I'm just going to fire some rapid fire questions at you. They've got absolutely not much to do with music, just top of the head answers. We're just going to have a little bit of fun. All right.
We'll take it in turns too. So I'll answer the first one.
Oh,
Jesse,
no, I want both you guys to answer these. So the first one is the only one that has something to do with music. So playlists or podcasts?
Ooh.
Playlist.
Podcasts for me. Podcasts.
All right. Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
Milk chocolate.
Ice cream or cake?
Ice cream.
Cake.
You'll notice your host has a real sweet tooth. I just noticed that myself looking at these questions. So I'm going to try and break away from that. Board games or card games?
Oh, card games.
Card games.
Beach, water park, or pool?
Oh my God. Probably pool.
Yeah, pool.
And finally, pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
Yes.
Jester's shaking his head. No.
Oh, no.
You know,
Jesse, no.
It's been pretty much a 50-50 split. What's that?
Ryan's part Italian. You should be ashamed.
No, look, I'm fine. I'm also part fat as well, so I just like anything on anything.
That's the best answer right there. Well, I want to thank Ryan and Jesse for joining us on this edition of Rock Talk. What's your website? What's your socials, guys?
Just Tailor Made Rejects everywhere. We kind of operate all our business through our socials on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. We are slowly building towards a site where we can have merch and things like that. But we are offering merch through all our socials at the moment. But when we get a website, we'll start advertising that as well. So yeah, just Tailor Made Rejects everywhere.
Excellent. Excellent. And I want to thank you guys again for joining us. This has been a whole lot of fun.
Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate it.
That again. And thank you again, Rockaholics. We'll catch you again next time on another edition of Rock Talk with CGCM Rock Radio.